You are here because you need to lose weight. It's no secret the world is attracted to nicer people. And I'll be the one to tell you, being fat is not attractive. Getting lean and shredded is easy once you have the blueprint and the step-by-step process to losing weight. There are two groups of people who are watching this video. The first being obese or borderline obese people. Then there are guys who are already in pretty good shape but want to lose weight to reveal their muscle. The principles I tell you in this video apply to both groups of people. You're probably wondering how this guy who's been skinny his whole life is qualified to teach you how to lose weight. I've gone through multiple cutting phases during my lifting journey, and my last one being hyper successful to say the least. I dropped 6% body fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle in a 12-week period. And I also learned how to cut successfully when I got my bachelor's of science in exercise science. So it's important to understand why you're fat. This will help you during and after your cutting process. The first reason you're fat is you're overeating and or you're eating bad food. The only way to put on fat is if you're overeating. There's no way around it. And the second reason is you're not exercising. Exercising burns calories, so it makes it harder to overeat. And of those two, what you're eating or diet is the most important. It doesn't matter how much you're exercising, because if you're eating over what your body's burning, you will not lose weight. It's literally impossible. You must be eating in a calorie deficit. This means you're eating less than what your body's burning off. I will link a calorie calculator in the description. You want to use this to find what your maintenance level calories are. Once you get that number, you want to be eating 500 calories less than your maintenance level. This is a healthy level of fat loss. You'll be losing about 1 to 2 pounds per week, which is optimal to make sure you're maintaining your muscle mass. Keep in mind you will lose more than 1 to 2 pounds per week in your first week because you're losing water weight. But after that first week, you should be steady with 1 to 2 pounds per week. When you're cutting, you want to make sure you're looking at the scale, because if your weight's not dropping, that means you're eating too much. The scale is what you should be working off of. When people are trying to bulk, I don't tell them to check their weight. But when you're cutting, you absolutely need to make sure you're making progress. And because you want to prioritize maintaining muscle, you need to be eating 1.7 to 2.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. If you want to get your weight from pounds to kilograms, just divide your weight in pounds by 2.2. You need to be eating more protein than you would be when you're eating at maintenance or in a bulk, because you have to give your muscle a reason to stay. And obviously there's a huge range here. It's between 1.7 and 2.8. If you have less muscle, eat at the lower end of the range. And if you have more muscle, eat at the higher end of the range. But honestly, I would keep it safe and eat more than what you think. I have found that protein shakes are absolutely essential when you're trying to lose weight, because it makes it easy to get the protein up while keeping the calories down. And during this phase, you have to be using water in your protein shakes. I don't get people who use milk with their protein shakes. Shifting from milk to water has made it easy for me to stay lean year round, which is even more important when you're trying to cut. So suck it up and use water in your protein shakes. Carbs do not make you fat. Let's make that clear. Just like anything else, if you overeat carbs, it's gonna make you fat. But carbohydrates are what fuel your workout, so you need them. And I found the best sources are from fruits and vegetables because they're nutrient dense. This means that they'll keep you full. The name of the game when you're cutting is to eat nutrient dense foods because it makes you feel fuller. Theoretically, you could use French fries instead of fruits and vegetables, but you're gonna be hungry all the time because French fries aren't nutrient dense and they're not gonna fill you up. And if you're not full, cutting is gonna be miserable. This is why you have to cut fats down a lot. You shouldn't avoid fats because they help your T levels. But because fats are super high in calories and don't fill you up, they're the opposite of what you need during this period. But they're still super important. So you need to experiment with fats, but normally I recommend keeping fats down and increasing your carbs instead. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're eating as long as you're in a calorie deficit. And you want to be doing a calorie deficit for 4 to 6 weeks. Eating in a calorie deficit is hard. Like I was saying, you're going to be full a lot of the time. And when you're in a calorie deficit, you have to be counting calories. I never count calories unless I'm in a calorie deficit, because it's impossible to lose weight if you're not eating less than what your body's burning off. Keep in mind, you can mess up. You don't have to be perfect. If your friend has a birthday party, don't be afraid to have some cake and have fun. You can adjust by either eating less or doing more cardio. Or you can just make sure you get back on track the next day. This should not be a stressful period for you. Make it easy, but obviously push yourself and make sure you're eating in a calorie deficit as much as you can. This will make sure you're getting the best results in terms of weight loss and muscle maintenance. So when you're cutting to try and maintain muscle, what's the best kind of exercise? Cardio is the best short-term solution, while weight training is the best long and short-term solution. If you do cardio by yourself, you're not going to be able to go from fat to muscular, because weights is what stimulates the muscle to grow, and during this period makes it maintain itself. Muscle is active tissue. This means that at rest, your body's burning more calories. So the more muscle you build, the easier it is to stay lean. So if you do cardio by itself and you burn off this muscle, long term it's going to be harder for you to keep your weight down. So what is the best exercise strategy when trying to maintain muscle and lose weight? It's doing both cardio and weights, with weights being your priority. Cardio is not at all necessary, but when I was cutting, I found it very useful. This gave me more flexibility with my eating, because like I said, you're going to be hungry a lot. If you add cardio, you can eat a little bit more, as long as it's the right type of cardio. I am very against jogging during this period, because jogging, even though it burns a lot of calories, makes you more hungry. Walking does not make you more hungry and still burns a ton of calories. And walking has been shown to preserve more muscle mass. So you should be walking, not jogging. And sprinting is also good because you're activating the muscle fibers. So you either walk or sprint, don't jog. And now you need to prioritize recovery more than ever. Eating is part of that, but also sleeping. It's been shown that people who sleep less than 7 hours put on more fat and gain less muscle, while people who sleep more than 7 hours put on more muscle and lose less fat. Even with the same eating circumstances, you want to be sleeping closer to that 9-hour mark because you're trying to maintain your muscle. Just like with the weight training, give your muscles a reason to stay. Losing weight and maintaining muscle is easy as long as you fix your diet and you exercise, with the priority of your exercise being weight training. I have tons of videos on the channel going over how to lift weights. Be sure to check those out, and I'll see you guys next time.